Okay, friends, so I'm finishing up these cucumbers, and grapes are going to be dealt with for the next week of the pantry challenge. I will share what we're going to do with them because right now I'm not quite sure. The grapes are not completely done, and it looks like I'll have about 4 more cucumbers in the next week. So I'm sitting down here at the table with a bowl of cucumbers that my garden had produced. Hint, 4 of these are not ours. I got them from the farmer's market, but the rest came off the plant. So I'm gonna sit here with some music and get to chopping these. I'm gonna turn these all into hamburger pickles so that we can have some burgers this summer. Nope, yeah, probably this summer too, but mostly this winter. How are you guys doing? Have you been getting out into your gardens, hitting up the farmer's market, buying everything you possibly could store for the winter? Well, we are getting mighty busy over here, and with the school year just around the corner, I could not believe everything I needed to get done. I love to make pickles, even though we always seem to have a jar or two left over from the previous year when I start to can up the current year's pickles. This time, the family wanted more hamburger pickles, and I'm happy to oblige. I will take our time to get them thickly cut. We like them nice and thick because they tend to get soft when you can them, and we do not want them to like practically disintegrate when you can them. So I do a good, I would say almost half an inch thick. Into the pot, I'm pouring some white vinegar, and then I'm going to also add in some apple cider vinegar. I do not do my homemade vinegars when I can. I use the store-bought version. But we'll go ahead and measure out. I'm using a recipe from the Center of Home Can. No, what is it? Center of Preservation. And I'm using their recipe. It's very similar to Ball's recipe. I think the only difference was, I think the water. I believe it's like another cup of water that's added. And but nonetheless, we're gonna go ahead and get all the ingredients into the pot. That includes this canning salt, which I am nearly down to the end. I have not used as much canning salt. That canning salt is probably 2 years old. But you guys, you can use any kind of salt that you prefer as long as it does not have iodine in it. That does mess with the canning process. But yep, get it all dissolved in on medium heat. As you can tell, it is nearly lunchtime. So I have to hurry up. Good morning, my friends. It is not that early. It's only 8:40. And our whole entire crew had a wonderful day at the Corn and Sunflower Festival yesterday. I'll go ahead and shoot up some pictures and videos. It was such a great day of getting out with my husband and my son frolicking about. with goodies, it's time to get some work done. I had went to the farmer's market to my favorite guy, and he was in between corn picking, so I was unable to get my 5 dozen corn that I get every single year. Boo. he did tell me he did tell me that he should have corn either this coming Sunday or the Sunday after, which is perfect because the tomatoes that we put an order in will be here in a few days, this weekend coming up. So I want to make sure that I don't double stack it. But that's how produce is, right? It comes in at a whopping good time. I did pick up a quarter bushel of peaches from my favorite farmer guy. He gave me a discount. And with that, because I was picking up so much, look what he gave me. Yes, tomatillos. We love chicken chili around here. And even though this is a nightshade and nightshade family, my husband has to stay away from nightshades as much as possible. He does not mind giving up his 1 day or 2 days. I think 1 to 2 days a month he will eat nightshades, but he wouldn't mind giving it up for some chicken chili. So those are going to get clean and roasted, blended down, cooked up, and canned up today. So I'm getting a cup of coffee boiling. That's going to be today's project. And then sitting right next to today's project is, you betcha. So as we were having fun at the Corn and Sunflower Festival, we got to take home a dozen of corn. And I'm pretty sure when my husband stuffed this bag, I'm pretty sure it's more than a dozen in here. because it was the end of the day when we grabbed our stash. So they were like, take whatever you want. And that included roasted corn. And we ended up with another dozen of freshly roasted corn. They were roasting them up, throw them in these coolers, and you just reach in, grab them, and salt them to your liking. Tons of flavorings on the table. Matter of fact, one of the flavorings was from Dano. I'm going to find that. It was so good. So, yes, we have corn in the fridge to eat probably for dinner tonight, maybe an extra tomorrow. I'm not quite sure because we were eating the corn driving home. And then we also have a dozen right here. So this dozen is right here. I'm going to figure out exactly what I would like to do with it. I got to speak to the son of the owner of this large farm. And he said that they tried their best to shuck that corn or take the corn off the stalks the day of the festival early that morning. Roll it over with the tractor, set it right there by the door. So this corn is literally 1 day old. So I don't want to waste it. It was so delicious and we're happy to have it. So corn is going to be tackled later today. But first this morning, when it's easy peasy and less work for me, will be the tomatillos. When you establish a relationship with a farmer, you get all kind of goodies. In this case, we met this farmer in the summer of 2021 by just dropping by his stand and picking up something. And we loved what we picked up. I can't even remember what it was, but we went back practically every single Sunday all summer long. And then we just kept going back to him summer 22, 23, 24. And then when we looked up, we went to his usual spot at the farmer's market for 2025, and he wasn't there. And so I was kind of moping, like, I don't want to buy anything for anybody else right now. And so I took a different pathway on the way back to the car, and I saw his stall, and I was like, what happened? He was like, they put me over here in the corner. I was like, well, I'm going to come back to your corner. So I loaded up and have been going all summer long. And he loves to see my face. We rarely know their names, and they're twins, and I cannot tell them apart. But I go to them every single week that I'm in town or available. So these tomatillos are just one of the many gifts they give us. They give us free melons and extra corn and you name it. So we will tackle those peaches another time, but right now we're going to do these tomatillos. I'm teaching my son what is a tomatillo and how to shuck it. And I'm so glad that he is not afraid of getting in there, getting his fingers dirty, and learning where his food comes from and how we can cook it and make do with what we have. I'm adding some onions and some garlic to this roasting pan. And I'm going to go ahead and roast all these tomatillos in the oven. I'm not adding olive oil. The recipe doesn't add it. Many years I do add it, but this year I'm going to keep it out and I can add olive oil when I go to cook it. There it is, fresh out the pan, and I'm going to go ahead and scoop them into a pot. My little investigator would love to have this job, but it is so hot, guys, and I don't want him to get burned. But if it wasn't as hot, he would definitely grab that spoon and scoop things into a pot. He loves to participate. So I'm going to go ahead and add in some green peppers that are on top and some jalapenos. Then I'm going to slowly cook that down and add in lemon juice, cumin, garlic powder, onion powder, oregano, salt, pepper. These are the ingredients. It comes from the Ball Canning book, and the home preservation is they have similar recipes for a lot of things. So I'm going to go ahead and let them simmer, blend up with my immersion blender, and jar it up. Make sure to wipe your lids, your tops, before you add your lids and your rings. That, my friend, is 3 chicken chili dinners for the winter.
Good morning. We are at the end of week 2, I believe, of the Every Bits Counts challenge, and I have corn and peaches staring me down. We had a wonderful trip at the Corn and Sunflower Festival. We had so much fun, but I had to come home and attack those peaches, and life got super busy. I ended up with a couple meetings. It took up the majority of 2 days, and I could not wrap my energy around canning at night. And as for the peaches, they were a farmer's market pickup. So it wasn't many, I believe 15 peaches. We ate about 6 or 7 pounds. I'm sorry, 15 pounds of peaches, and we ate about 6 or 7 pounds already. So I don't have too many to tackle, but I have to tackle the corn and the peaches today because the box of tomatoes that we ordered is due to be picked up later today. And I cannot have that in here along with those two and get super behind. So it is going to be a big canning session to make up almost 2 days worth of barely canning anything. And not to mention, I have strawberry tops in the freezer that I need to get rid of because that's another thing that I want to not carry into the next week because I got to get these projects into jars because filled jars mean food to eat in the future. Food for the future. Filled food for the future. I'm tired. Let's get to canning. Oh, wait. Coffee. Can't do anything without coffee. So let me get coffee. Then we'll get to canning. So my husband was able to shuck all the corn for me while we were gone at a meeting. So thankful for him for that. I got a couple in there boiling, and then I'm going to dump them into a nice ice bath to kill off the growing enzymes that is present in the food. I waited like 2 years to order this thing. I meant to order it last year, and totally forgot about it. And then I threw it in my Amazon cart this year because I was like, I'm going to order this little corn dehusker. First of all, the little teeth on the back of this thing is sharp, and I've already been poked, thinking I lost a whole layer of skin. So this is an excellent tool for sharpness. The thing about it is I'm confused on how to hold it.
which makes it even more dangerous because I'm afraid I'm gonna cut myself. And I thought the whole point of this tool was that it's in your hand and not down into a bowl or something. And I have corn all over the tabletop. Oh goodness. Oh, I missed a whole row on this one. Okay. Onwards and upwards. I'm destined to use this thing.
Mom, I got your mighty castle.
Is that right? Okay, so one of the simplest things I'm going to do with this corn is for you non-canners out there. This corn is going to get bagged up and frozen. It is a perfect size and consistency to do corn fritters and maybe like hush puppies that you want corn in, or corn cakes. So we're going to go ahead and section these off into plastic bags, freeze them flat, and it'll be the perfect amount for me to pop out, add all the rest of the ingredients in, and have quick corn cakes. And since it's already cooked, I won't have to lose too much nutrients in the freezing process, so they can remain a little healthier than when I can the next big batch of corn. That I'm using just for substance because the canning process is going to kill a lot of nutrients from the corn compared to quick blanching I did on this batch. All right, let's get some bags labeled and get this scooped. And I need to double check my recipe because I think I need 1.5 cups of corn or maybe 2 cups. So that'll determine how many bags. The whole premise is I would like to have four meals on the shelf with this corn. If I'm shy, I got more corn coming because, like I said, my favorite farmer, he said he was in between crops, and second round of crops will be available probably tomorrow. But I got tomatoes today. Oh, it's a busy season. Stay tuned for more goodies that we'll be making here at Spoonfull. Thanks for dropping by for the second week of the Every Bit Counts Challenge. Take care. Bye.